You're listening to the AfterBuzz TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Keith. Johnson.
From the AfterBuzz Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com, and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is AfterBuzz TV's Giuliana and Bill After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. If you'd like to buzz in on tonight's show, you can buzz us at 424-256-1729. That's 424-256-1729. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AfterBuzz TV's Giuliana and Bill After Show.
I love this song.
Absolutely love
this song. Just makes me so excited
I
for
sing
this
it every
show.
time I see the show.
Hey everyone, happy Wednesday. I'm Giselle Ugarte, and today we are doing a brand new show here at AfterBuzz TV. The show's not new, actually they're on their 6th season.
Right, 6th season.
Giuliana and Bill, but we have never discussed this show on AfterBuzz TV, and we're so excited to do it.
Yes.
I've been watching since the beginning.
Yes.
I know you have as well.
Yes, absolutely.
And actually, I might as well introduce my lovely co-host over here, brand new to AfterBuzz TV. Please give her a warm welcome.
Hi, I'm Tara Johnson. So happy to be here with you to start this whole new AfterBuzz series off. I'm just excited.
I can't wait.
Thank you.
So Giuliana and Bill actually started last week.
Yes.
So we're going to recap the first episode a little bit and also get into the second episode, so you get 2 for 1 today.
How about that? What
Be
a
happy
deal.
about that one. So let's just get right into it.
Yeah.
The first episode was called The Countdown Begins.
Mhm.
And we pick up where the last season left off. The last season actually ended with the to be continued ...
Yes.
And they were at RPM. Juliana and Bill were at RPM, their restaurant in Chicago, with all of their friends announcing their pregnancy.
Yes.
And everyone wanted to know, is it a girl? Is it a boy? What's it going to be? And it turns out Juliana and Bill just gave everyone a tease.
Absolutely.
And said, we're not going to tell you.
It's a secret.
It's a secret. Did you think she was going to keep the secret?
Oh, absolutely.
Really?
There was never one, I never thought for 1 second that they were actually going to tell all of their friends at that moment the sex of the baby.
I don't know if I thought they were going to tell it right then and there, but I didn't think they were going to be able to keep it a secret until the baby shower.
I knew it. I knew it was going to be hard, but they had to build the suspense. It was like they went through so much to get to this point, and then just to tell everyone with the sex of the baby off the bat.
I know.
That's too easy.
They did go through a lot. They tried
go through a
IVF
lot.
several times.
Yes.
Juliana publicly experienced a miscarriage, which
Yes.
was devastating to watch. And it's incredible how much this show has completely transformed their lives, inspired others. Juliana Rancic, I think, has always been a role model to women being on entertainment news, but to open her life up to cancer,
Absolutely.
to miscarriages,
Yes.
seeing how difficult and how incredibly rewarding it can be to have a baby. I've never had a child, but I can only imagine. And then also, letting everyone into her marriage.
Absolutely.
Bill's like husband of the century.
I know. I think it's so amazing how this show has changed, and it just shows them as them being a couple, and how they've allowed everyone to come in and share their story and their experience with the entire world. It's a very brave thing to do. It's also a great reflection of what I think is a good relationship, and how they talk to each other and communicate, and just really there to support each other. So it's just turned into, it's great television and a wonderful couple, but it's actually very inspiring.
And of course, it's not all sad. They actually, they showed us some of the more embarrassing sides of the fact that they seem very unprepared to have this baby.
Completely unprepared to have this baby.
We see them going into Bell Bambino in
Yes.
Beverly Hills, very upscale baby store, and they don't know what half of the things are.
I loved it when the woman asked them, do you want to go organic? And Juliana said, yes, absolutely. Does that mean they can eat the clothes? I was like, you really don't have a clue in anything from bottles to carriers. Like, hadn't thought about it, didn't have a clue, was completely clueless as to what they needed for this baby.
The salesperson's even like, oh yeah, this mat's for the babies to do little crunches. And Juliana's like, oh, cool. Like, no, Juliana.
No, not exactly.
Not exactly. And then also, one thing that I didn't even think about was when the producer pulled her aside at E! News and mentioned, well, you know, you're going to have to buy 2 of everything, right? Because they are going to be going back and forth from Chicago to LA so much.
I didn't think about it either. When the producer said it, I was like, oh my gosh, that's such a great point, because the last thing you want to do is to have to lug everything back and forth from LA to Chicago, back and forth. You always forget something. You never have what you need for the baby, and so the safest thing to do is buy 2 of everything. And I love when she said, the smaller the child, the more stuff you need.
Yeah.
And I think Juliana's eyes got even bigger. It was pretty eye-opening, that point.
And thankfully, money is not an issue.
Thankfully, money is not an issue for them or their friends.
I also loved how they finally showed who their surrogate was. You know, now we know that they had the baby and everything. We'll talk about that more in News and Gossip. We have some great pictures. But they introduced us to Delphine.
Absolutely.
And we see her face for the first time. We see the beautiful moment when Giuliana and Bill get to see the baby move, because the carrier is actually in Colorado. That's where Giuliana's doctor is. That's where they did the egg transfer. And so they can't see the gestational carrier on a regular basis. They have to fly out and really take advantage of every single opportunity of, you know, being able to experience the pregnancy as much as they can, because Juliana's not carrying the baby.
She's just trying to make that connection and also comfort Delphine to let her know that they're there and she's just not in Denver by herself carrying their child, that they really embracing her and what she's doing, and they so appreciate what she's doing for them. She's really giving her body over to them for 9 months in order to make their dream come true. So it really is the type of thing where they're trying to talk to her as much as possible, stay connected as much as possible. They want the connection to the child as much as they can as possible. So it's really eye-opening to even see this process done. I think there might have even been some controversy around this when they announced that they were going to carry their child via gestation, getting a gestational carrier. But it's just amazing how wonderful Delphine seems to be, and calm, and she lets Juliana rub her belly, and it communicates and stays connected. So it's just really seeing how their expansive family is really growing, and it's so warm and inviting.
And you say controversial because I feel as though there are definitely celebrities that have done this, but I've heard this before, who knows if it's true, but I've heard that celebrities have faked baby bumps before.
Absolutely.
Because they don't want people to know that they're incapable of having a child themselves, or that they've been having so much trouble to, you know, conceive a child. Or, you know, they did for a while keep the gestational carrier anonymous and kind of hidden and mysterious for the sake of her safety, because they are such public figures. But on the bright side, I have to say it's kind of cool that they can announce their pregnancy and drink champagne together.
It's true. And still go running and still do all the things that they so love to do together, and spend this time together before the baby comes, because they're realizing their lives are about to change big time.
And speaking of moving into a new house, Juliana's not having to worry about carrying heavy things or heavy lifting. Not that she would. It seems like Bill's kind of got that under control.
I think so.
But you know what I mean. She's not having to worry about the hormones and the stress for that. Obviously, there's a lot of stress having the child and having to prepare for the child anyway, but she's still able to go to work, and she's still able to move things around and really think things through. And we do see them buying a new house, moving out of their rental. The Altman brothers from Bravo's $1 Million Listing make a cameo appearance, which I love. NBC Universal now owns Bravo and E and Style and all of those networks, so it wasn't too surprising that there was a little bit of a crossover. Who knows if they'd been working together before. But did you think the new house was necessary?
I thought, for all the people they were speaking of bringing in, having a nanny, having 2 separate offices, having her family come from Italy, having his family come from Chicago.
Her family's in D.C.
Now they're in D.C. So I can just imagine everyone being there, again, with this wonderful gift of the child coming. I can only imagine all the grandparents wanting to be there as much as possible. So a 3-bedroom house, which was what they were renting before, I don't think was going to cut it. So I think they were very smart to think you know, forward as to what they would need ahead of time, as opposed to the baby coming and then panicking when the child is here to say, oh, now we need to move into
more space.
More space.
Yeah.
To think ahead and figure out they need more space. It's a scary move in this market, but I think it was a pretty smart move.
I love how Mama DePandy was even like, oh, I'll move in for the first month. And you see Bill's face.
She mentions her parents coming a lot, several times, and his face is always the same, like, what
He loves them though.
they're great. They seem to be.
I would
they
do
can
that.
Come visit me.
Yeah.
She can come over with me anytime she likes.
Absolutely. Mama DePanny Spaghetti, thank you very, very much. Well, my thing about the house, though, is that I think it's an investment, and they say that they're going to eventually want to raise their kids in Chicago, but I could see themselves keeping the house.
I mean, I know Juliana said she signed a 3-year contract with E.
Five.
Year contract with E. So in 5 years, who knows what will happen? I think they'll probably stay around. I mean, they're doing this new show together, Ready for Love. Who knows how long that will be on the air? They're starting that in the fall. So in 5 years, I think it's a pretty good investment. The market should turn around. Who knows where their lives will be? Their child will be 5 years old. Then things change over time.
Yeah.
So I think they're making a wise investment. They may not think of it as that now, but I think things will change in the future.
And it's a really beautiful neighborhood too.
Oh.
Brentwood, that whole west side, that's where a lot of celebrities have their kids that don't
Absolutely.
have the choice of being able to leave the city. So they may change their mind or they may be out of here. I'm a Midwestern girl, so I am pro them moving to Chicago. I loved when they started talking about in episode 2 baby proofing.
Absolutely. And
What do you think about baby proofing?
Well, when she said, "Do we have to baby proof the edges of the pool?" Again, another great Juliana.
You have to
moment.
baby proof the whole pool,
The whole
Juliana.
pool, not just the edges. But with a house that big, and the fact that it's 2 weeks from construction, it's a good time to talk about needing to baby proof the house, because it's a perfect time to do it and build it into the house as you're completing the construction. I couldn't imagine baby proofing even my small 1-bedroom apartment, let alone the 5-bedroom house that they're building in Brentwood. It's going to be a gorgeous house, though. I can't wait to see it.
I'm with Bill. I'm like, why baby proof? Let the kid get some bumps and bruises and eat dirt and
Let's not raise a wuss.
yeah,
That was his line.
raise
Let's
a
not
wuss.
raise a wuss.
Exactly. I have a couple crooked fingers from.
I think you need to cover a couple of outlets, though. I think just a couple covers on some outlets, maybe some things in the kitchen. A little baby proofing.
Maybe.
Not not proof. We're not talking about bubble wrap around the entire place so the kid can't do anything. But I think a little baby proofing might be helpful.
Maybe. Last but not least, and you mentioned this earlier, they announced in their show. We knew this prior. There was a lot of talk about it in the media, but Giuliana and Bill are hosting a show called Ready for Love, and I believe Eva Longoria is one of the executive producers on the show as well. And we see them co-hosting together for the first time. And Bill hosts a news show called America Now with Lisa Gibbons.
Yes.
Juliana has hosted E! News. She's also hosted Miss USA. But this is a little bit of a different ball game. And a lot of people don't realize that co-hosting is actually quite a bit of a challenge. You have to balance the audience and the
Absolutely.
topic and the little recording in the ear, the IFB, right?
IFB. Yes.
Yeah. I'm like, hold on, all these little IVF.
I know.
And your co-host as well, and
Yes.
who knows what other people are backstage seeing. And what did you think of them working together?
I thought it came off really well, but I loved in the beginning when Juliana made a point of saying, well, the coach is going to give you tips because I don't need any tips. And as soon as they did their first read together, Maureen said to them, I think you're both flat.
Yeah. They were.
I agree.
I was honestly a little concerned, and I'm really excited to see how it turned out, because with Bill, he just seemed so nervous.
Yes.
And Juliana seemed so newsy. And
Yes.
those both were kind of wrong, and they didn't show the chemistry that they have. And I actually spoke with Maureen Brown today,
Okay.
and she said that it ended up falling into place. She's excited to see how it looks on camera. Obviously, she couldn't say very much. She's sworn to secrecy.
Right.
But one interesting thing that she did say is that every time the cameras were off, Bill was always touching Juliana. That
Oh.
their love is completely palpable. And she actually said that she had goosebumps on her arms just talking about it. And that she'd emailed them this morning just saying how amazing it was to work with them, and how she had sent them an email after she'd seen the show. And so that was just so refreshing to hear that from someone on the other side. And they produce the show, and they choose what's in the show, they choose the themes of the show. So to hear that their love is authentic, not that I ever really doubted it, but that it's even stronger than what we see, is just makes me want to love her and hate her and love him.
Oh,
And
well.
I would never hate her, don't get me wrong, but
It's just a great thing to see two people who I think are so like-minded, because I do think they both have very serious career-oriented sides, but they also have silly sides, and they seem to completely mesh and match each other.
They communicate so well.
They do communicate very well. And I think it's just, it really shows in the show, but you're right, just to hear a third party who has nothing to gain from saying, you know, these great things about this couple, for them to say it, I think is a pretty wonderful testament to really their love and their marriage. And it's wonderful to see.
It's a beautiful story.
Absolutely.
You know, their love, their success, the baby, everything that they've gone through together in less than 5 years of marriage.
Absolutely. And so much they've gone through together, and they're still as strong, and they're moving to this next level. They're both excited, so it's just going to be amazing to see them as parents now.
Exactly. Well, before we move on to episode 2, I just want to tell the viewers that are tuned in, whether you're listening on iTunes, watching on YouTube, or on AfterBuzzTV.com, this is a brand new show. So please give us your comments, your feedback. Let us know what you think of this show. You know, rate us. Hopefully you'll give us 5 stars. But otherwise, we love hearing any feedback, good, bad, whatever, because we want to give you the best show. And also, make sure that you tune in to a lot of the other AfterBuzz shows. We have over 50 shows this fall. We're bound to have your favorite show as long as it's, you know, appropriate for television. So we have amazing hosts, and we want to bring you the best possible shows. We're broadcasting worldwide, over 1 million downloads a day. So I have to just say thank you so much to everyone who's tuning in, who's listening, those dedicated fans out there who are always tweeting and promoting and sharing. We really, really appreciate it. So thank you. Okay, episode 2. We're having a ...
Yes.
is the name of this one. I loved it. I love parties. Oh.
Love it.
That's a new one. That's a good one.
That's pretty good. That's spot on.
I've thrown a baby shower before. Nothing like what we saw in this episode, and we'll talk about that later, but that was on my mind the whole time. I'm just going, wow.
I'm not jealous about that. I'm sorry that you had to plan a baby shower before.
Well, we're going to start off with what Juliana likes to call glamming it forward.
Glamming it forward.
Instead of paying it forward, she was glamming it forward. And she wanted to give her assistant, Sarah, a makeover.
Yes.
Did you think the makeover was necessary?
No. I mean, it seems like she wanted to share something with Sarah, just show her appreciation. I don't think a makeover was necessary. I think Sarah is gorgeous and just cute, and her style is her own style, and I think she's great the way she is. So, no, not necessarily a makeover, just maybe something different.
Yeah.
And those dresses were different.
I loved how Kat called it a hoedown.
Absolutely.
And then when they walked in the store, Juliana's like, okay, you know how there are those girls that wear the tube tops that they just pull it down and pretend like it's a dress? I want something like that.
For Sarah.
For Sarah. Exactly. I actually used to work with Sarah.
Okay.
And she is just someone who is so cute. You're right. She has her own style. It's sweet. And I thought the makeover was kind of not the best word to use for what they were doing, because she doesn't need a makeover. She's gorgeous. She's one of those girls who doesn't have to try and is always skinny and beautiful and stunning. If anything, shopping spree, I think, would have been a better word.
Absolutely.
If it would have been a makeover, then maybe do something a little different. Not that she needs it, because she always looks amazing, but we always see her with the neutral eyes and the super nude lips. So maybe it would have been fun to see, like, you know, some winged eyeliner and some dark lips. But I actually got a tweet from A. Sendick a little bit ago, and she asked, which dress did you like the best?
Oh, team pink or team black, right?
Mm-hmm.
Definitely 100%.
And she picked a different black one in the end, too.
She did?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
There was a cutout, and then there was the leopard print black.
Yes. I was definitely team black, too. The one that she came out in, that was my favorite of the 3.
I thought she looked great in the 3rd, but the 2nd one was my favorite.
Really?
And I
With
think
the cutouts?
I think that was the most out of her comfort zone, but it was just so sexy, and the halter and the sequins and the black. She just looked this blonde bombshell.
Absolutely.
Totally. Like,
You better get
wow.
this.
Hey.
Right.
It just made her look like she had this perfect hourglass figure, and
Yes.
it made her tan come out. I liked that one the best.
You let
personally.
Sarah know when I saw that hourglass figure. I was like, what do you do? What's your trainer's name? What's your regimen? I need to know it all, Sarah. Call
No,
me.
she's one of those girls. I'm not even kidding you. She'll eat whatever she wants, and she won't work out, and she just looks amazing.
Ugh.
So, you know, whatever.
Bottle
She's
it and
gorgeous.
sell it, Sarah. Bottle it and sell it.
Moving on, another thing that we saw a lot. Oh, by the way, I totally thought she was going to tell them in Vegas.
I thought she
When
was
they had
so
cocktails,
close. She was so, and they almost had her. They
They
almost had her.
almost had her. She wanted to try to use the cocktails to get information about the baby shower out of them. I was hoping that they would make it on the ladder and get
Right.
the boy or girl out of her.
She almost slipped several times, I think, as the cocktails were flowing. The lip started to move a little more. She just caught herself, but
Yeah. And then while she was in Vegas for Miss USA, Bill was in Chicago and he also had another speaking event. So he was very much taking the role of a family man.
Yes.
Not just the amazing husband, but a family man. And first we see him at the Paint the Town Pink event as the keynote speaker. And this event is basically celebrating a lot of the men or the caregivers in the lives of patients that are dealing with breast cancer. And I mean, did you cry? Because I cried.
I cried even at the mention of the event because I think those type of events are very important because a lot of times when someone is battling cancer, you forget their caretakers or their loved ones, and it's something that the entire family experiences. And it's interesting when he was giving his keynote speech because it's sometimes not a perspective that you think of.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that he was there for her and supported her and, immediately took a role to help her, it really shows that it is a partnership. And it's so wonderful for her when she did get that phone call to have Bill to call and, and actually be able to express that and he be there for her. But I just thought it was so moving to actually have that support system and to celebrate those people who are there in the supportive role too.
Mm-hmm.
Even when he said in his
And
speech,
he's so good at it.
oh, he's amazing to hear speak. He
He's
really
so
is. He's so charismatic.
well, and he's so good at being her biggest cheerleader
Oh,
and her
absolutely.
biggest support system. And he mentioned something so beautiful. He said, "You know what? I don't care what you look like as long as you're here." And one thing that we didn't discuss in the first episode was that Juliana visits her doctor and she's having to be on this medication for at least 5 years. And so she would have to hold off on having another baby. She's freezing her eggs just in case.
Right.
But I mean, having a baby after age 40, it can significantly increase the difficulties and the health problems that the baby could potentially have. And Bill was saying, you know what? We already won with one child. Like, we
Right.
already have this amazing gift. It's going to be a boy, which we find out later.
Right.
So they have the ability to, God willing, pass on the family name, which is amazing. And I also thought it was beautiful how he mentioned that as a caregiver, he too is a survivor,
Absolutely.
which
It really is something that
he
touches
just has a
the
way with
entire
words.
family. He does. It's something that touches the entire family. I thought that they were perfect to pick him, and the words that we heard him express were absolutely amazing. I did. I cried.
Yeah.
I grabbed a tissue before when they announced that he was going to speak. I was like, "Let me just get ready."
Yeah.
I feel the tears
I just
flowing.
know
I
it's gonna
know
happen.
It's coming.
Anytime he has one of those moments, you just know.
Absolutely.
And then he goes to Chicago. Of course, he's always checking in at RPM. But he meets with Eduardo, Juliana's dad,
Oh,
on his own,
So sweet.
and with his two very good friends, Dave and Ari, I believe.
Ari, yes. Dave and
Definitely
Ari, yes.
Ari, yeah. And asks, or John and Dave. I wrote it
Okay.
down, John and Dave, and asks advice because he's getting nervous. He wants to be prepared. He wants to be the best dad possible. And it's, obviously a big deal that they're having a baby. Did you feel like he was nervous? Did you feel like he
Oh,
was overwhelmed?
Completely nervous. I think in these first two episodes, we're starting to see a different side of Bill, a very pensive side, where he's really getting concerned about the fact that they're bringing this child into the world and they're going to have responsibility for raising this child. And you can see him in the corner as they're talking about bringing the baby home, and then in the delivery room in the first episode, and he's very quiet, and I can tell he's getting nervous. He wants to make sure everything's perfect, and I loved when his friend said, "You will not be perfect.
Yeah.
You're not going to get this right every single time."
There are going to be good times and bad
Absolutely.
times, but always love.
But
I
there's
loved that.
nothing better than hearing the person, your child calling you daddy and that type of thing. That was another tear moment for me.
Yeah.
But I think he's getting nervous, but I think it just shows how serious he's taking this and how incredibly blessed he feels to have this gift that's coming in this child.
And you mentioned something that we also forgot to talk about in episode 1 is when they visited the hospital, and just a little comic relief funny moment when they were fighting over who was going to cut the umbilical cord.
I think that shows them. I think it's great. And the skin to skin, and he's like, "Wait a
Yeah.
minute, you know what? I'm losing both battles. Give me a break.
Yeah.
Can I do something here?"
Please. Have you ever been to RPM or Chicago?
I lived in Chicago before moving to LA, and I didn't. I have not, but that's on my list of things to do when I go back to Chicago.
Maybe we need to stop at RPM or something during this season.
Oh,
Take AfterBuzz a little behind the scenes,
that
little
would
girls
be
trip.
great. AfterBuzz road trip.
My parents are actually in Chicago right now. I'm like, you have to go to RPM. You have to go. So I'm very jealous of that. And then lastly on the show, I also loved how Eduardo mentioned that as a parent, there were a few times where he would wake up in the middle of the night in his pajamas to go pick up a child at the bar.
I think that story was great. I can see it vividly in my mind. An old Italian man coming in pajamas to grab his daughter out of a nightclub. It's almost, a sitcom in itself. It's absolutely fantastic. I loved it.
That's what we love about the DePandies.
That's what we love.
All right, so it's blue or pink. What do you think?
Great. That was great.
Loved this. So Pam Cole, who's Juliana's agent, and Mindy throw Juliana a party. And I just want to say, if you just started watching this season and are a little unfamiliar of Pam and Juliana's relationship, or just as a reminder, Pam was actually Juliana's employer at one point. Juliana, one of her first jobs ever, was working for Pam. Didn't go very well. But they became the best of friends, and now Pam represents Juliana. They were actually supposed to be pregnant together. And Juliana was going to throw Pam a baby shower.
Yes.
Pam was going to throw Juliana's baby shower, and then Juliana miscarried and had to throw Pam's baby shower shortly thereafter. And so that was a very emotional moment for her. And that made this moment all the more special. And I think all the more reason for Pam to go all out. Over the top.
For this baby shower.
We've seen Juliana practice with Pam's baby, which
Sicky.
hasn't always gone the best, but I thought that was adorable when she was playing with the stroller, making funny faces.
Yes.
Sydney's crying her head off, and then eventually sees how much fun Juliana is with the stroller, all awkward and lanky, and it was a cute little moment. But Juliana is just so occupied with finding out all the details about this baby shower.
Well, she just keeps saying over and over again, I'm a control freak. I have to know. I need to know every single detail. What happens if they throw something I don't like? I have to know. I have to know. It was just, she repeated it over and over again. And she just didn't get anywhere. And I love the fact that she got nothing from these people.
Nothing at
I
all.
loved it. I loved it.
And I think part of it has to do, I think it's definitely control issues. I think the reason why she has control issues is because in a little while, she's going to have no control over her life. As soon as the baby comes, it's going to be all about the baby.
Yes.
And these are her last few months to be able to control what goes on in her life. So she wants to be able to control absolutely everything.
But this is one time, let go a little bit. Let your friends show you some love and appreciation, support. Let them throw you a baby shower. And this baby shower was the baby shower of all baby showers.
I think definitely. That was a good one. I'm like, wait a minute, hold on. Is there a fire alarm? What's going on? But I think she's glad that she let go.
Yes.
That kind of a thing can be so stressful too. I mean, I can see where her stress is, but Pam has such good taste.
Oh, I never doubted it for one second. She knows her.
The location, the yard was gigantic. What I loved is that it was a co-ed baby shower.
Yes.
And it was very sweet because it was on Father's Day, but everyone that they wanted to be there was there, both sets of parents and siblings and friends and coworkers.
And was this the first time we saw Bill's other two sisters? We don't see them as often.
No, we don't. I think we've seen them briefly, but not as much as we see his older sister.
His older sister, who's his manager.
Right. They had, let's see, what did they have? Oh, they had the really cute pink and blue ribbons at the door.
That you had to choose.
You have to guess whether it's a girl or a boy. And some of her friends were getting really into it. She had girls saying that if they were wrong, they would jump in the pool.
Yes,
which
we
we
didn't
didn't see.
bet, some gambling going on around this decision. I mean, this reveal coming out.
It was catered by Paletta, one of my favorite catering services here in Los Angeles. They're a personal chef, organic, very Juliana type of catering service. And then they wanted to do something unique in terms of the reveal.
Yes.
And they didn't get to choose. Pam and Mindy chose. So what they did is they had this huge box that, said the blue or pink, what do you think? And they revealed it by opening the box and boom! Outshot these blue balloons.
These blue balloons was so
What do you think?
great. Oh, I thought it was just the perfect touch. They discussed before possibly cutting the cake. And I didn't think the cake, I thought it was a great idea, but not the main idea. But to have this lavish.
And they still had a blue cake.
They still had a blue cake. But to have this lavish backyard with all their friends and everyone wearing either a pink or a blue ribbon to show what team they were on, but then to have this huge box and to have the box open and have these blue balloons go into the sky. I thought it was just a great, perfect touch. Kudos to Pam and Mindy.
I thought it was awesome.
It was awesome.
I can just picture the Twitterverse, some of the people being like, oh my gosh, like you guys are totally littering.
I thought about that.
Hold on. Let's focus on the positive, people.
I totally thought about that.
Let's focus on the positive.
I was waiting to read the headline on the internet the next day. What someone's saying, some organization saying, "You're polluting. You don't release balloons into the air."
You need to relax.
No,
We're celebrating life.
I totally was waiting for it.
Well, I loved how at the end of the party, of course, again, Bill, way with words, gives a beautiful toast, and then. And he's, gives a little shout out to his dad who passed away of cancer and is so excited that it's a boy. They can pass on the Rancic name as we discussed before.
That was the perfect touch.
And now it's G and B equals 3. A happy little family.
Or is it B and G equals 3?
The show's called Giuliana and Bill. Come on.
But they're still discussing that point, whether it's B and G or G and B.
I think, G and B. I think it sounds better. I'm a little biased. I'm a G, so.
I liked his point, though. Sonny and Cher, Brad and Juliana. Angelina. I liked his point. He did have a great point.
Mary-Kate and Ashley. He's like,
right.
No.
You tried.
That doesn't work. Well, let's move on to a little news and gossip, shall we?
There you go.
AfterBuzz TV News.
Well, Giuliana and Bill is a reality show. So in terms of news and gossip, we don't necessarily have to worry about a lot of spoiler alerts because we already know what happened, which is great. But we are still learning a lot of things that we didn't see in the media on their journey, which is great, of course. So in case you've been hiding under a rock, Giuliana and Bill welcomed their son, Edward Duke, on August 29th of this year. Via gestational carrier.
Congrats.
He was 7 pounds and 4 ounces. I believe we have some photos. And he was not 13 pounds. Right. Juliana made this joke earlier about how she was 13 pounds when she was born. Right. I want to see photographic proof.
I would love to see that too.
Because I'm sure she had a big head, which she always makes fun of herself for.
Right.
And, whatever, Juliana, she's this tiny little person. But 13 pounds. That'd be pretty ironic.
Well, she's what? I don't know, 40 pounds now, so I don't know. But I loved how their doctor in Denver was spot on when he called them when they had the 30-week ultrasound and said, oh, the baby's about 3 pounds, 4 ounces. And Bill asked, well, what do you think the actual weight will be? He was really close.
Right on.
Oh, my gosh.
Yep. And it's funny because Juliana in previous episodes was like, please don't let me be that mom who's always talking about her baby, who's always showing pictures of the baby. And I love seeing pictures of the baby, so I'm not annoyed by it at all. But she's definitely talking about the baby. When she was doing red carpet coverage for the Emmys, she'd stop and be like, hi, baby. Mommy says hi.
How can you
Showing
not?
pictures of the baby, tweeting pictures of the baby. She posted a photo of Bill, which we have, of the baby. He's shirtless, very sexy.
Oh.
The baby's over his arm, and people are like, why are you carrying him like that? She's like, actually, it's good for the baby when they have gas. So clearly they've come a long way. They're learning. They're being hands-on parents.
They have learned a lot.
Good for them.
Still sharing.
Yes.
By the way, if you're listening, we'll have the photos up as well on Facebook.com/AfterBuzzTV. For those of you with YouTube, obviously you don't have to worry about that.
Perfect.
Fantastic.
Thank you. And then also, the house that Juliana and Bill were renting is now up for sale for $2.3 million.
Do you think you can make an offer?
In my dreams,
okay,
perhaps.
Good to dream.
I actually think I've driven by the house before, but I'm not that stalkerish, although I totally would creep on that fence all the time.
That sounds like another AfterBuzz road trip also.
Little exclusive, like creeping in the backyard.
AfterBuzz TV exclusive.
I'll call the Altman brothers, see if they can hook me up.
Absolutely.
And then last but not least, a little news because, they are real people, and so their life does go on, even if the show isn't necessarily filming. Juliana, over the weekend, this story has a little special place in my heart. Juliana Rancic became the newest honorary member of Delta Gamma, and I was a Delta Gamma at USC.
Oh.
So that's why it's particularly special to me. She was invited to come to one of their lectureship functions. They have an annual speaker, and so she went to Oklahoma University and spoke about her battles with breast cancer, her accomplishments in her career, and they made her an honorary member of DG. We have some pictures of that. She has her little sailor pose perfected, which, again,
congratulations.
Warm little spot in my heart for that. So, yeah, do you have any news and gossip? I know you had some information about the party.
Oh, the party. It seems if U.S. Magazine reported for their baby shower that they had everything that I would exactly expect them to have. Mini sliders and mac and cheese and cupcakes. And for the little bambinos at the party, they actually had an arts and crafts section to keep them entertained also. So it was a party for everyone, young and old. And Melissa Rivers was there, Lisa Ling was there, everyone that they loved and wanted to celebrate with them. So it really was the baby shower of all baby showers.
Yes. And another thing in Us Weekly that I thought was funny is that after the baby was born, they did an interview with her, and she confessed, she said, I'd only changed 1 or 2 diapers before they had this baby. And now she says that every little thing is like the highlight to her day. So it's great to see that they're getting the hang of things, that they're so happy, the baby is healthy, and everything's just falling into place for them.
The year of the Rancics.
Yes, the year of the Rancics. Exactly. All right, let's move on to predictions.
All right.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Okay, so in the next episode, we didn't see very much. We did see some previews for the first season, but they're interviewing baby nurses. They're about 3 months out, and they still haven't arranged for anybody. I mean, who can blame them? Their schedules are completely crazy. They're moving houses. I can't even think about
their schedule.
Right. So what we see is just this baby nurse talking about how when the baby's teething, she'd put alcohol on their gums.
A little bit of Southern. So actually, I've heard of that before.
Really? I've heard. Well, there was actually an episode previously in another season where Juliana called her mom and said, "Mom, didn't you used to put beer in my bottle? Wasn't that to help me sleep?" And she said, "No, Juliana, that's just a figure of speech. I didn't literally give you alcohol as a child." She's like, "Oh, I thought that people actually do that."
I have heard a little bit of brandy, I think, if you're teething. But don't quote me. I don't have children. Again, I'm Southern. Who knows?
And now you're out of control.
What are your predictions?
I'm thinking for the next show, we also talked about looking for baby nurses, but they're also making the huge decision as to who's going to keep their child if something happens to both of them.
Yes.
I can't imagine who they would choose. I do imagine that Pam would be at the top of the list. And Bill's older sister would be at the top of the list. What do you think?
I think Bill's older sister. Yeah.
You think that's...
Yeah. You know, Juliana is very close to her siblings as well. She has a brother and a sister. But they're in Washington, D.C.
Right.
And they've already made the decision, at least, again, for now, that they would be moving to Chicago.
True, good point.
So, and his sister's already in Chicago. She has 2 grown boys. And she's still, you know, she's younger than the parents. So I think that
that might be a good choice.
All right. Well, thank you so much for tuning in to our first ever Giuliana and Bill after show. Don't forget to let us know what you think by liking us, commenting, rate us on iTunes, hopefully 5 stars.
Please, 5 stars.
And, you know, tweet us.
Yes, please.
We read all of your comments and tweets and would love your feedback to bring you the best show possible. Have a wonderful night. Again, you can tweet me at Giselle Ugarte. Let us know where we can find you, Jara.
Yes, please tweet me. I would love to talk to you at TJ Path to Passion. I would love to talk to you.
Have a great night, everyone. Happy Wednesday. I'm Giselle Ugarte, and we will see you next week.
See you next week.
Bye.
From Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later!
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.